Hi, how are you today? I hope everything is well with you. So today I'm here to talk to you about the cables and SSDs for your Atomos Ninja V or V Plus. So when I bought this Atomos Ninja, I went online for looking for the cables and for the SSDs that they recommend to use. And I found out that first of all, the cables that they recommend are super expensive. They are crazy expensive because I don't know if they are made of gold or something like that. But the cables from Atomos for this recorder costs around $7 to $80 or euros. So I don't know where they made those cables, but they are out of this world expensive. And I look around and found that you don't need that kind of cables. And I'm gonna tell you more about later. So about the SSDs, I look around also and found that most of people are telling to use the Samsung Evo, and I bought one that is inside of the Atomos cabin. I bought the Samsung Evo 870, the 1 terabyte. I only bought this SSD because I didn't have anyone with this size at home, so I decided to buy it, and that's the main reason why I bought this. And I had this Kingston laying around, and I decided to test it also, and I had some surprises also. So let's talk about the cable. So as I said, I look around and I found a guy on YouTube talking about the cable for the Atomos Ninja and Ninja 5 and 5 Plus, and he was testing a regular cable against the Atomos cables, and he said that he didn't saw any difference between cables. So I decided to look for a cable that was good enough for this but cheap, and I found this one. This is a simple short cable for 8K. I looked and I found this and it's HDMI 2.1, and I tested this in all the formats and all the codecs from ProRes ProRes RAW 60 frames 4K to 24 frames 4K H.265, and with this cable it worked perfectly on all the formats, all the frame rates. It worked flawless in all of those. And I also tested one that is at this moment on my other camera, that is a HDMI 2.0, and it also worked except for ProRes RAW 4K 60 frames per second. On that format, that frame rate, it didn't work. It worked at 4K ProRes RAW 30 and 24 FPS, but in 60 it didn't work. But I noticed something in this cable. This cable is short for my needs because when I'm using the monitor in this position facing forward, if you are using this, you have the cable in this side, the input in this side, and the output of the camera in the other side, and this cable is short. You can connect it in one side and the other side. So now what I'm gonna do, and I found here at home in a bag still closed a cable, an HDMI cable that is very long. As you can see, it comes from here, it's wrapped around the lens, and then it comes from this side, and this cable was inside of the 4K box from my internet provider, my TV box. So I decided to test it also, and it also worked on all the formats and all the codecs, everything, the frame rate. So the test that I made with this, I also made with this one, and it worked also flawless without any problems. So as you can see, you don't have to buy those expensive cables from Atomos or from other brands. This cable cost me 70 euros in Amazon. I bought it from Amazon and it works perfectly. The only problem is short, so it's instead of 30, if it was 40, it worked perfect. Spiral, so I'm waiting. That cost me also 17.8 or 17.5 euros, so I'm also wanna test that out. But it's from the same manufacturer, the same brand, so it's also HDMI 2.1, so I believe that it will work as well. So now let's talk about the SSDs. So the SSDs, the Samsung Evo work perfectly on all frames, all frame rates, all codecs, everything from ProRes, RAW, 4K, 60 frames to H.265, 24 frames. It worked perfect on all the frame rates, all the codecs, everything. So if you want to choose one, you can choose this one and you won't go wrong for it. And I chose this one because, as I said, I didn't have any SSD with 1 terabyte laying around, so I bought this. But now let's talk about this one. It's a Kingston. So this is an old Kingston that I have laying around. It was in a shelf in my home, so I decided to try it. So I 3D printed the case for it because it was, if you put it in here, it's not fixed to anything. So I designed and 3D printed this case for it, and now it's perfectly, it stays here, it doesn't move, so it's okay. And I tested also in all the frame rates, in all the codecs, and for my surprise, it also worked perfectly in all, and it worked on with ProRes, RAW, 24, 30 and 60. So it worked perfectly on every codec and on every frame rate, even being it has write speeds of 460 megabytes and this one is 550. So I don't know, I only recorded for 5-6 minutes, not longer. Probably if I record a longer time, probably the temperature will rise and probably it will fail. But I tested, I looked for keep frames or any artifacts on the recording. I didn't found any. Normally when I'm using ProRes RAW, I use this one because it's bigger. But if I'm using ProRes 422 10-bit, I always use this SSD with no problems. I only use this one because of the size, because normally I use this one if I'm recording small files in ProRes 422 or H.265 or another format. I will always use this. So there you have it. You don't have to buy expensive cables, you don't have to buy expensive SSDs. In my case, with my SONY FX30, everything worked perfectly, especially the cables and this Kingston SSD. Of course, this one is it's more than enough for this. It works perfectly, and this one also. So hope this information was helpful for you, and if yes, don't forget, hit that like button, that helps a lot. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, that will help also the channel, and hit that notification bell to be notified next time I will launch a video. Until there, bye.